Good morning, Quadcopter 101 here. What I got for you today is a review of a neat new quadcopter, the Syma X14. Now, the Syma X14 is a beginner's learn-to-fly altitude hold quadcopter. It has a really neat shape to it. It looks like a actual rocket ship, spacecraft shape to it. It even has little exhaust ports on the back of it. But again, it is a beginner's learn-to-fly quadcopter, mainly intended for beginners, new flyers. Looking at it, again, it has nice prop guards that's installed to it all the way around. They cannot be removed. It does not look like they can be removed, as they seem to be molded into the shape. Let me take a closer look here. But yes, it seem to be molded into the shape of the structure itself. To remove them, you'd have to probably open up this particular port here, or the screw here, remove it, and pry this apart to be able to pull them out of there, along with screws on the top here. So again, they really want you to keep these on, in other words, to protect the propellers. And again, as this is intended for beginner flyers, maybe that's a good idea. The battery that's included with this is a little 450 milliamp hour battery. Unfortunately, it does have proprietary connectors on it, these new Syma proprietary connectors, which is telling us right away that Syma wants you to buy spare batteries for this directly from them. Let's put this back on again. Okay, it does have an on-off switch on the bottom here, so you can leave the battery plugged in and then turn it on, but always remember to turn it off, and after a flight, do unplug that battery. They are probably planning on future camera versions, because there is a slot here that would be your SD card slot, and there's a little SD card shape here, and this this is probably a light right now, but this would probably be where your camera would be coming out. But again, this is just the basic X14 version. I'm sure there will be an X14C version in the near future. So let's go over the controller right now. The controller is this new style Syma controller here. This is your throttle, this is your yaw, this is your pitch, and this is your roll. And as you can see, the throttle is centered, so that tells you right away that this is an altitude hold quadcopter. Other features of it, if you want to arm the motors, you bring the bow sticks down and inboard, or you can do an automatic takeoff and landing by pressing this button here. Now, there are two buttons in the upper right corner. The back button is for flips. You press that button, and then you tell it which direction to flip. You can change the rates on it by pressing the pitch roll stick one time quickly, and that will change from beginner to intermediate. If you want to enter headless mode, you can also enter headless mode by holding this button down for 2 to 3 seconds, and it will enter headless mode. You can do trimming of the quadcopter by holding the throttle stick down and then trimming left or right as needed, or forward or back as needed on the quadcopter. You can calibrate the gyros. If the quadcopter drifts a lot, put it on a flat level surface, bind it to this transmitter, and bring both sticks down and to the right, and that will bind, or that will calibrate the gyros so it will fly more in a flat profile. And you can change the headless mode direction by landing the quadcopter, pointing it to a new direction that you want to be the new headless mode direction, and bringing both sticks down and to the left. So that's it. That's the controller's buttons. These buttons here would be for camera and photo, if this was a camera and photo bird, which it is not. So let's go right into flight of it. And with that in mind, I'll turn on the quadcopter switch and turn on the transmitter and bind it to the quadcopter. First thing I want to see is what happens when it loses from the transmitter, loses reception. And it seemed to be about 5 seconds. Let's try that one more time. Now, arming the motors. Arming the motors. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005. So about 4.5 seconds it will drop from the sky, so we don't have to worry about flyaway too much. Okay, let's try automatic takeoff button. So I'm assuming you have to start the motors first, so let's start the motors. Oh, sorry, let's rebind the quadcopter. And starting the motors, and pressing the automatic takeoff button. Oh, I guess you got to do it from stop, and it'll do an automatic takeoff. Okay, so let's try that trim. We need a little forward trim, pressing the left stick down, pushing forward. So, okay, we're good. I got a little bit of wind in my face here. Trying its stability out. Very stable. Just using my left stick here. Let's try that headless mode, which is this stick here. Okay, we're in headless mode, so that should be our headless mode direction. Let's check it. Okay, forward, back. Doesn't care which direction it's pointed. Right and left. Point it up a little higher. And there it is, folks, pointing directly to us. See, with headless mode on, it doesn't care which direction it's pointed. That is always going to be forward. Pulling back is always going to be back. Again, forward, even though it's pointed to the left now. And right is to the right and left is to the left. That's the advantage of headless mode for new flyers. But I don't like to fly headless mode, folks, so I'm going to come out of that. Okay, we should be back in normal flight, and let me verify that, and we are. Let's try a little bit higher rate and see what it'll do in higher rate. And this is its high rate. And it's not too shabby of a flyer, actually. Let's try the flip button, bring it in close. Gotta hold it down? Yeah, you gotta hold the button down. Left, right flip. Interesting flips. Let's show you that again. Holding the button, forward flip. It goes woo, woo. As the altitude hold tries to bring it back again. Left flip. Let's see if it comes. Oh, look, it comes back down again to where it was before it started doing all those weird gyrations. So notice the, here, let's bring it down a little bit lower so you can see this. But notice the gap between the propellers and the prop guards. There's about a ½ inch there, gap above it. So, you know, it's very little protection above, but lots of protection below it. And very, again, nice and stable, again, for beginner flyers. Intended for beginners. Okay, let's try its range out. Let's see if we can go around that pole over there, which is about 40 meters away. Easily goes around that pole, so good range on it, about 50 meters. Actually, let's see if we can actually get 100 meters. I don't know what the range of it is. I bet you it's not 100 meters, but since I am at the local soccer field, that should be about 100 meters away, that net down at the opposite end. So let's try to fly toward that net. Remember, we don't have to worry about flyaway because it'll shut down, but I want to see if I can make it into the net. And goal! 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 Okay, it made it to the goal, so you know we can go at least 100 meters. This is very unusual actually for Syma birds. Usually they can only fly about 70 meters, but I guess these new transmitters, Syma heard people's complaints, and in these new transmitters, I guess they provide extra long range, more range than the previous version. Let's do an automatic takeoff again by pressing this button here. Oops, which I was pointing the wrong direction. I'll tell you what, since we smacked into the ground, let's do a calibration. Gyro calibration. Down and to the right, to the right. And the gyros are calibrated. Okay, takeoff again. That's better. Got a little wind forward of me here. So, oh no, yeah, this would be a great beginner's quadcopter. Let's go give it a little more rate here to fight that wind. And going upwind. And do funnels. Coming downwind. Going upwind again. I guess the wind is over here. Let the wind blow it by. Nice beginner's quadcopter. Try that flip thing again. Let's see if I can get it to flip. Oh, it's getting low. I can see its batteries going. There's this LVC warning. I don't know if you can see those lights above us, but the LVC is going off definitely. So let's see how much flight time we get between LVC warning and it dropping from the sky or landing. That's what we want to know. Will it drop from the sky or will it land? Nice smooth flyer. Great beginner's quadcopter, actually. Beginners should love this one because it looks cool and it flies cool. No flips. No flips on LVC. Remember that. Most quadcopters will not allow you to flip any farther once it reaches LVC, so that's a hint that your battery is low and you should start bringing it in close. Let's take it up high. Do an automatic landing. We haven't done that yet. Automatic landing. Press the automatic land button, and that's how it does its automatic landings. Okay, we'll do an automatic takeoff. Nope, it's got some grass on it. That's why. Sorry, folks. Let's take it where there's no grass. I think it still has power. Automatic takeoff. Yeah, still has power to fly. It's just warning us that its LVC is on. So that was an automatic landing. They're kind of bouncy. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention. If you pull the stick down, left stick down, and hold it down for 2 seconds, it will drop. Let's see if we'll demonstrate that. 1001, 1002, 1003. The motors will shut down, so be careful. Don't pull that stick all the way down in a descent. Leave some throttle on there, in other words, to prevent accidental dropping from the sky. I like how the thing takes off very easily with that button. Much better than using just the sticks to start the motors. Very easy takeoff. Simple button press. Are we still in high rate? We're in high rate. Let's go back to low rate then. Keep it in for the remainder of the flight in low rate. Gentle flying. On full forward pitch right now. There's a wind from the back here in low rate. Let go of the stick and the wind blows it back. And I think it's starting to descend, folks. Well, maybe not. Yeah, it's descending. So that's what it does when the battery's done. It does an automatic landing. And that's that. So the Syma X14 beginner's quadcopter. Got great range, very easy to fly, altitude hold. Oh no, it's a great quadcopter. The only thing I don't like, one single thing I don't like, proprietary battery connector. You gotta buy the batteries from Syma. So hope you enjoyed this flight. This is Quadcopter 101, signing out.